Canada came into being as a country on July 1, 1867 when the British Parliament passed the British North America Act. Please like and subscribe my channel for latest upcoming videos. Famous Canadians. Famous Canadian celebrities include Justin Bieber, Michael Bublé, James Cameron, Jim Carrey, Celine Dion, Ryan Gosling, Rachel McAdams, Mike Myers, Ryan Reynolds and William Shatner. Famous Canadian rock and rollers include Bryan Adams, Paul Anka, The Guess Who, Rush, Steppenwolf, The Barenaked Ladies, Alanis Morissette, Bachman Turner Overdrive, Neil Young and Avril Lavigne. Other famous and well-known musicians and songwriters include Sarah McLachlan, Nelly Furtado, Diana Krall, Chantal Kreviazuk, K.D. Lang, Maureen Forrester, Leonard Cohen, Rafi Kavukian, Bruce Cockburn, Gordon Lightfoot, Anne Murray, David Foster, Robert Goulet, Shania Twain, Buffy Sainte-Marie and Joni Mitchell. Famous Canadian authors include Lucy Maud Montgomery, Anne of Green Gables, Margaret Atwood, The Handmaid's Tale, and Alice Munro, Lives of Girls and Women, Mavis Gallant, Stephen Leacock, Pierre Berton, Robertson Davies, Douglas Copeland, Alistair MacLeod, Farley Mowat and Michael Ondaatje. Famous Canadian artists include the Group of Seven made up of Lauren Harris, A.Y. Jackson, J.E.H. MacDonald, Arthur Lismer, Frederick Varley, Frank Johnston and Franklin Carmichael. Tom Thomson and Emily Carr, two artists associated with the group, are also very well known. Inspirational Canadians include Terry Fox, who attempted a one-legged cross-country run for cancer research, Rick Hansen, a paraplegic athlete who completed an around-the-world marathon for spinal cord injury research, and Donovan Bailey, the world's fastest man. Famous Canadian dancers include Karen Kane, Veronica Tennant and Lynn Seymour. Superman was co-created by a Canadian Joe Shuster and American Jerry Siegel. The character was created while Shuster was visiting Siegel in Cleveland in 1934. Famous Canadian journalists, TV or radio personalities include Peter Jennings, Alex Trebek, Lloyd Robertson, Peter Zofsky, Robert McNeil, Morley Safer and John Roberts. Fun geography facts about Canada. Canada is the second largest country in the world. The highest tides in the world occur in the Bay of Fundy in New Brunswick. You can kayak at Hopewell Rocks, but start on the mud in your kayak and just wait for the water to lift you off. The capital of Canada is Ottawa, the second coldest capital in the world after Moscow. Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories. Canada has the longest coastline of any country in the world at 243,977 kilometers to 151,600 miles. Montreal is the world's second largest French-speaking city after Paris. 6 cities in Canada have a population of over 1 million: Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton and Ottawa. Canada is lucky to have 9% of the world's renewable water supply. The largest non-polar ice field in the world can be found in the St. Elias Mountains, Yukon Territory. It covers an area of 40,570 square kilometers, of which 16,900 square kilometers are located in Canada, the remainder being in Alaska. Canada has 6 time zones. The longest highway in the world is the Trans-Canada Highway, which is over 7,604 kilometers, 4,725 miles in length. The world's most northerly sand dunes are in Athabasca Provincial Park in northwest Saskatchewan. They are 30 meters high. Half of the country is covered with forests, which should come as no surprise considering 1/10 of the world's forests are here. The highest mountain in Canada is Mount Logan, Yukon Territory, 5,959 meters, 19,551 feet. Wasaga Beach is the longest freshwater beach in the world. Despite being a huge country, Canada has the 4th lowest population density in the world, with only 3 people living per square kilometer. Almost half of the population in Canada were born in other countries. The coldest temperature ever recorded in Canada was -63 degrees Celsius, -81.4 degrees Fahrenheit, on February 3, 1957 in Snag, Yukon. The highest waterfall in Canada is Della Falls, British Columbia, 440 meters high, 1,444 feet. The border between Canada and the United States is officially known as the international boundary. It is 5,525 miles long, including the 1,538 miles between Canada and Alaska. It's the world's longest unprotected border. Ocean Falls, British Columbia has on average 330 days of rain per year. Yuck. Estevan, Saskatchewan is reportedly the sunniest place in Canada with 2,537 hours of sunshine per year. Naquacto Rapids, Port Hardy's legendary dive destination, boasts the strongest current in the world, with speeds of up to 18.4 miles per hour. 3 of Canada's islands make the top 10 for size in the world: Baffin, Ellesmere and Vancouver. Nunavut takes up 1/5 of Canada's total land area. Manitoulin Island is the largest freshwater island in the world. 2 of the largest lakes in the world are found in the Northwest Territories, Great Bear Lake and Great Slave Lake. Calgary is famous for its Chinooks, a weather phenomenon that can raise the temperature by 10 degrees in a matter of minutes. Sports in Canada: hockey and lacrosse are Canada's national sports. The baseball glove was invented in Canada in 1883. Canada has hosted the Olympic Games 3 times, 1976 in Montreal, 1988 in Calgary and 2010 in Vancouver. Canadian sports icons include Wayne Gretzky, hockey, Steve Nash, basketball, Mike Weir, golf, and Cassie Campbell, women's hockey. Whistler, British Columbia is consistently ranked as one of the best places in North America for downhill skiing. The Royal Montreal Golf Club, founded in 1873, is the oldest golf club in North America. The first indoor ice hockey game took place on March 3, 1875 at the Victoria Skating Rink in Montreal. Ice hockey, football and baseball are Canadians' favorite spectator sports. Culture in Canada: the world's largest totem pole was raised in Victoria in 1994 and stands 54.94 meters tall, 180.2 feet. The most widely attended festivals in Canada include Celebration of Light, Vancouver, 1.6 million; Winterlude, Ottawa; Gatineau, 1.6 million; Just for Laughs, Montreal, 1.5 million; Canadian National Exhibition, Toronto, 1.3 million; Calgary Stampede, 1.2 million; Pride Toronto, 1.3 million; Toronto International Film Festival, 0.5 million; Quebec Winter Carnival, 0.5 million. The first chuckwagon race held at the Calgary Stampede occurred in 1923. Purses and prizes totaled $275. To get the Canadian Championship title, each outfit, consisting of 4 horses, wagon, driver and 4 helpers, were required to cut a figure 8 around barrels, head out through a backstretch, then around a track, unhook the horses from the wagon, stretch a fly with a minimum of 2 stakes and make a fire. First smoke decides winner. Inventions, medical advancements. Canadian inventions include the game Trivial Pursuit, Scott Abbott and Chris Haney; the telephone, Alexander Graham Bell; basketball, James Naismith; and the snowmobile, Joseph Armand Bombardier. Thomas Ahern invented the electric cooking range in 1882. Graham Ferguson co-invented IMAX. There are over 500 IMAX theaters in 45 countries. Insulin, a hormone produced by the pancreas, was first isolated at the University of Toronto in 1921-22 by Dr. Frederick Banting and Charles Best. James Till and Ernest McCulloch are credited with the discovery of the stem cell. Elizabeth Catherine Bagshaw was one of Canada's first female doctors and the medical director of the first birth control clinic in Canada. She has been recognized as providing outstanding contributions to the quality of life of women in Canada. History of Canada: John Cabot was the first explorer to reach Canada in 1497. The east coast of Canada was settled by Vikings in approximately 1000 AD. It's definitely worth a visit to Lanceau Meadows. Newfoundland didn't become a province until 1949. The Moosehead Brewery in St. John, New Brunswick turns out 1,642 bottles of beer per minute. The beer named after Canada is called Molson Canadian. Founded in Montreal in 1786, Molson Coors Canada is the oldest brewery in North America and continues to produce beer on the site of the original brewery. Over 200,000 pancakes are served during the Calgary Stampede. Foods we think of as being Canadian include pea-meal back bacon, poutine, maple syrup and Timbits, small donuts from Tim Hortons. National parks and UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Canada is home to 48 national parks and national park reserves, 167 national historic sites and 4 marine conservation areas. Nature facts about Canadian animals are 9.3 kilograms. Lobster is the largest documented lobster caught. It was caught in Nova Scotia in 1977. The muskox has an inner fur layer that is finer than cashmere and can be spun into wool that is very much warmer than sheep's wool. If you knew that, then you probably knew it was called Kiviat. 50% of the world's polar bears live in Nunavut. A bald eagle can see 4 to 7 times better than humans, though not just in Canada, and they have been recorded doing 100 miles per hour dives. There are about 200 species of mammals in Canada. Financial facts relating to Canada. The Bank of Canada opened its doors in 1935 and issued its first banknotes. The Bank of Canada began as a privately owned institution, with shares sold to the public at a par value of $50. In 1938, all shares were purchased by the Government of Canada and the bank became a Crown corporation. During World War II, the Bank of Canada's 9 victory bond campaigns raised almost $12 billion for the war effort. After the war, the program was continued with Canada Savings Bonds. Starting in December 2000, the bank began making interest rate announcements on 8 pre-specified dates per year. The Canadian dollar is sometimes described as a petrocurrency. The S&P TSX is the 4th largest exchange by market cap in the developed world. On April 23, 1997, the TSX's trading floor closed, making it the 2nd largest stock exchange in North America to choose a flawless, electronic or virtual trading environment. At its peak in 2000, Nortel represented more than 36% of the Toronto TC 300 index when their equipment carried 75% of Internet traffic. The Hudson's Bay Company, or the Bay, is the oldest commercial corporation in North America and one of the oldest in the world. The company was incorporated by English Royal Charter in 1670. Just plain weird, unusual or interesting facts about Canada. Canada has the world's smallest jail, in Rodney, Ontario. It's only 24.3 square meters, 270 square feet. Canada has 198 jails. Daylight savings time does not occur in Saskatchewan. The heaviest rainfall ever recorded was in Buffalo Gap, Saskatchewan. On May 30, 1961, 25 centimeters fell in less than an hour. That's 10 inches. The Regina tornado of June 30, 1912, rated as F4, winds of 330 to 416 km per hour, was the most severe tornado so far known in Canada. It killed 28 people, injured hundreds and demolished much of the downtown area. At the time it happened, the most expensive natural catastrophe in terms of property damage was a horrific hailstorm that struck Calgary on September 7, 1991. Insurance companies paid about $400 million to repair over 65,000 cars, 60,000 homes and businesses, and a number of aircraft. There are 522 airports with paved runways, 931 airports with unpaved runways. The license plate for cars, motorbikes and snowmobiles in Nunavut is in the shape of a polar bear. Canada is the largest producer of uranium in the world. The intersection of Portage and Main Street in Winnipeg has been called the windiest place in Canada. Newfoundland is nicknamed the Rock. Prince Edward Island, Canada's smallest province, is only 225 kilometers long and 56 kilometers wide. It's a great island to bike. The Northwest Territories is called the land of the midnight sun because the sun barely sets around the summer solstice. There are diamond mines in the Northwest Territories. Some of the world's largest wheat fields are found in Saskatchewan.